I didn't want him to go, but I support him. The words of a mother as she was reunited with her son after he'd spent 5 months in combat against ISIS in Syria. 22-year-old Jac Holmes from Bournemouth was questioned by officials for 3 hours after landing at Heathrow Airport last night. But he wasn't arrested despite previous warnings that he could be prosecuted for fighting abroad. In a moment, one expert tells us all returning fighters are a threat. First, our Home Affairs correspondent Emma Vardy has this exclusive report on the family reunion.
Relief to see him back on British soil.
Tired.
How are you feeling at the moment?
Let me take this for you.
Tired. Happy to be back in England, but tired.
For Jac Holmes' family, it's been an agonising time.
How hard has it been the past 5 months?
Very hard. Just worried about where he was, what was happening to him, and not really knowing.
Jac Holmes travelled to Syria voluntarily to fight alongside Kurdish militants against ISIS. He was told by British authorities not to go and warned he could face prosecution. Jac Holmes travelled back via Iraq and Egypt and landed on a flight from Cairo here at Heathrow last night. After he got off the plane, he was detained by security officials and questioned for 3 hours. His phone and laptop were removed, but eventually he was told he was free to go.
Yeah, they wanted me to recount what I was doing from January. Asked me about other Westerners. Am I going to go back? Stuff like that.
Along with other Western volunteers, Jac says he took part in battles with the Kurds to retake control of areas held by ISIS, at one time suffering a bullet wound himself.
Did you ever try to get him to come back?
I did. I didn't. He knew that I didn't want him to go, but I support him. It was his decision. I'm his mum at the end of the day, but he's a grown man and he makes his own decisions.
Jac says he may go back again one day, but for now, some normality awaits.
It's surreal, yeah. I've been out of civilization for a long time, and now I'm back.
It may take some readjusting. Emma Vardy, BBC South Today.
Well, the Home Office continues to insist returning fighters could face prosecution, but it won't say why Jac Holmes wasn't arrested or why another Briton who had fought with the Kurds wasn't even questioned by officers at Heathrow yesterday. Short time ago, I asked Professor Anthony Glees, a security and intelligence academic at the University of Buckingham, what are some of the issues for returning fighters?
Well, for one thing, they've tasted blood, if I could put it like that, and they've seen the most awful, horrifying things. They're not trained to fight, they're not trained to deal with these things. So when they come back to the United Kingdom, we're dealing with individuals who've been killers and also people who may well have suffered some kind of psychological trauma from what they've seen.
We know that Jac Holmes was detained just for a few hours by the security services at Heathrow when he came in. Would you expect him now to be monitored?
I would, yes, I would. Partly for his own good, because he will be a target for those in the United Kingdom who support the Islamic State, but also because of the psychological pressures and the fact that he's had military experience. Something might go wrong, something might click with him, and he might become a security threat to people in this country, particularly British Muslims.
The government says that they want to treat those who are fighting for ISIS and against ISIS in the same way, but the reality seems to be very different.
Well, it has to be very different because this is a complicated area of the law. In the 19th century, if you fought for anybody other than the British Crown, you were committing a major offence. But in our times, the law has never been updated. If you join a terrorist organisation or prepare to join one, that's a clear criminal offence. That covers you if you go off to fight for the Islamic State. Fighting for the Kurds against the Islamic State, that is another issue. But the bottom line is that both sets of people, young people who've tasted blood, come back to this country, represent a security threat to us here. And that's something we need to bear in mind.
Professor Anthony Glees, thank you so much.